when I watch the things that you guys were doing, and it goes back to the Roger Bannister and breaking the 4-minute mile, and I watch the things CrossFitters do in their sport, a lot of those things that we were taught in school were impossible. And what I believe happened is what y'all did in your sport and what they're doing in their sport is they've increased the fearlessness or that fight or flight syndrome to where they can push their bodies further in a direction of where the typical person would say no. And I believe that, and when it really resonated to me was when I heard an Eddie Hall interview when he was talking about how he trained for the 500 kilogram deadlift. And he was talking about, again, what Hafthor has done in the last couple of years is incredible. But what Hafthor, nothing to take away from it, because I'm sure I do that in pounds, is he had someone already prove it could be done. Eddie didn't. And Eddie did something that was even more crazy because he wasn't going from 490 to 500. He was going from 465 to 500. It wasn't like, hey, I'm gonna chip it up.
No, it's a big jump.
He was saying something when he was meeting with his mental coach that he had to get into that dark place of what we hear when the grandma lifts a car off somebody. That it's in us. But how do you get it out of you in a controlled setting where it's not a reactionary setting? Like, hey man, I got to lift this car up. I got to get this guy out. Versus I'm going to walk up and do a 500 kilogram deadlift. And when he was talking about it, like he didn't even want to bring up what that was in the interview, what that point was. And I could only imagine what he had to come up with to do that. But that's when it really clicked was, I think I was on something that when these guys started, again, like, you know, when you came out, you pulled 400 kilogram deadlift. That was supposed to be legit. Then everybody started doing it. And then, I mean, everybody. And now, if you don't pull 1,000, you're considered, you got to bring up your deadlift. And why?
That's the standard one.
And it's funny how like certain standards continue to kind of, you break these barriers, but then you have some of them like, well, how come the long jump records stay so long? Or how come certain things it takes?
Well, you could, I mean, it's that's a great question, because you have to think, you know, what's possible, right? Like, and then you have to put it in your head and say, well, I think, you know, whatever is possible, right? And you know, I don't know where, like with the like pressing, for example, you know, I mean, like you're saying, like a 200 kilo log has always been pretty much the gold standard. Yeah, like you're above 200, you're going to be scoring points at most contests. And then if you take it up to 210, you take it to 220. Now we're starting to talk about rare air, right? Where you're getting up to that type of number. Deadlift would be the same. And you know, it was that 880, 400 kilos, then it was 900, right? And then it was like, who's going to pull in the low 900s? Then who's in the upper 900s? And then who's breaking 1,000? And then where do you go from there? And I think that, you know, it's like that mentality of like what's possible, right? Like, and the limitation of mentally saying something's impossible.
And I think in the physical fitness world, those two sports, a lot of you crack the code to a different level. And that's where, like you said, that's where certain things may not be possible for every one of us. But what we're doing, I think there is something you think's impossible in you. Is in you. But could you mentally get to that point without having to have some crazy circumstance where you're involuntary, just do it because it has to be done. The fact that in Eddie's case, he was able to control that, whatever that dark place was, to know he had to do it and understood he'd been training to do it, tells you a lot about the importance of mental fortitude, but also the value and the quality now of where we talk now with mental health and awareness, not only from helping you with mental illness, but now on the other side, the mental performance side. And I've seen that I know I think you were working with somebody towards the end of your career, and I have a guy in my entourage or Rolodex that's high level, who's an ex-strength coach, who's worked with me at 3 different spots, and has really done a great job with the people that I've gotten in touch with of understanding things and how it relates. And that's important too, that he's a competitor. He played football, he's powerlifted, he's done strongman as a 231 athlete back in the day. So he understands a lot of what we're asking these high level competitors. And that's where, like, for me, I like where I'm at. I miss coaching. Like I told you, you did me a solid when you asked me to come aboard officially. Thomas has done me a solid. Rain did me a solid this week when I worked with the Fort Bragg guys and the women. And that's to me is the ability to diversify this uniqueness of now what's happening with expertise. I think we're in the age of expertism in the field of performance.
Sure.
If you enjoyed that clip, you can watch the full episode right here. And to watch another clip, click right here.